Hey everybody, how's it going? My name's Ketan. I thought I'd just take a few minutes here to kind of talk about my experience with Darcy and the Body Rebuild program. So for about the past 15 years, I've had chronic issues with my hips, knees, and low back. I always thought it was just normal. You know, you finish a basketball game, then afterwards you're gonna be tight because you just played for an hour. So you gotta do some stretching, you gotta do some ice, some mobility work, some compression, whatever it may be to kind of get you back on track, get your body back on track. So I just thought it was a chronic issue. And to me, chronic meant for the rest of your life and you just kind of manage the symptoms as they come. It was about maybe 5 to 7 years ago where I started having some serious issues where I started having big flare-ups that would leave me kind of immobilized. You know, I would have to lay on the ground with my feet up because the flare-up was so bad I couldn't move. If I tried to get up a certain way, I would get stuck and I would have to wait for the flare-up to kind of calm down. I wouldn't be able to bend to grab my shoe off the ground. It's pretty debilitating, especially for somebody who's fairly young in general. It wasn't until I started having those flare-ups that I started really taking like recovery seriously, really started to do extra work for mobility, for stretching, you name it, until the flare-up would be gone. And then everything would be all good for about 2-3 weeks. And then lo and behold, another flare-up. And I just thought it was a chronic problem that I just had to kind of deal with. And if it flared up again, I had to wait a few days for it to go away. And then I could just go right back to, whatever, playing as hard on the basketball court or lifting heavy weights or going as hard in like HIIT workouts, whatever it may be. But it wasn't until I started really working closely with Darcy that he kind of showed me that you have to stop treating the symptom and you have to get down to the root cause of the problem. You have to understand that it's not just a chronic thing. It doesn't mean that since it's chronic, it's going to stay chronic. You can turn it into something that isn't no longer an issue. And so the way he kind of explained this to me is that you have to kind of get your body back to the fundamental baseline, and after which that point comes, then you train your body into those new habits and into those new movements. If you just stop after the pain goes away, then what happens, your body will tend to go back to its old habits, and you're going to start favoring the old movement patterns that got you into the same problem in the first place. So what you have to do is you break it down to a fundamental level and you work on the small movement patterns, and you have to continue doing them for a few weeks to a few months, and hopefully for the rest of your life, until your body can retrain the new movements and to be functional on a balanced level. So that was really the biggest change for me. It's been absolutely life-changing. My work involves a lot of sitting, a lot of moving, a lot of bending. I love playing sports. I can now play a full basketball game without any back stiffness versus before 2-3 minutes into the first quarter and I'd be stiff. I need to take a break or take it easy. Now I can once again play competitively, play the full game. I'm not worried about having to pick up stuff off the ground or tie my shoe. I'm not worried about having to miss work because my back's potentially gonna be stiff the next day, so I know I can go play hard, be competitive at basketball, and still be okay to work the next day. Absolutely amazing. Highly recommend working with Darcy. He's really patient, takes the time to understand what your concerns are, and it's a very detailed approach and specific to you in general because each individual is different, and he really has a knack for finding out exactly what's causing your specific issue and creating a plan to resolve that issue. And on top of that, he has a way of holding you accountable to keep you going throughout, even after the pain is done, because that's always the hardest part. When you're feeling good, you're feeling back to normal, it's hard to keep doing those movements because you kind of forget about what the pain was like. It's honestly really life-changing and I highly recommend it.